Hey everybody, welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly, and not joining us this week, as rarely ever happens, is Inquisitor. Quiz is otherwise indisposed. But joining us as always, and rounding out our triumvirate of awesome, our duology of awesome? I don't know. Our duo of awesome is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Link in the description. Jack, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm not going to deny it. I'm going a little stir crazy. Not so much because I don't spend a lot of time indoors. It's just my options for when I do occasionally go out of doors have become extremely curtailed. For a while now, you know, the whole isolation thing.
Well, don't get any ideas. Protesting is non-essential too.
But, right. Well, everyone knows that. I mean, you know who's protesting, don't you? Neo-Confederates. That's who.
Yeah, those damn freedom lovers.
Something I forgot to do before the stream started was insert chat into the now. Yeah, I'm out of winter. You caught it right. Saw it. OBS had yet another update, and they rearranged everything, and, well, figure my way through it. Good. Load up chat. There it is. Looking good. Okay. So, let's see everybody who's here. Jacob Jet saying, damn it, quiz. Yeah, no kidding, am I right? Jordan 250 was the first one here. Hey, Jordan, how's it going? And Cryptic Functional, Ryan Walters, TOS, lots of people. Evil One, Frosted Glass, and Mata Winter, aforementioned. Alpha Omega's here. Becca's here. Hey, Becca. Cool. The whole crew.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Tyler Lalonde. Lalonde. Tyler is here. Let's just keep it on a first name basis. So, Jack, have you actually been reading comics this week?
Yes, I've been getting a lot of reading done.
Yeah? I mean, I hear you clicking away over there. Are you editing videos for your channel?
Yeah, I'm editing images.
That was supposed to shame you, but I forgot.
No.
You're Jack. What am I? I'm going to shame you?
That's not a lot of shame to be had. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, plus I have to constantly be doing this or I get behind, like, very far. And I've got, like, 20 videos recorded, so I need to get images cut, and it takes forever to do that.
What are you trying to do? Make me feel lazy? Because you just made me feel lazy.
That's your guilt, not mine.
Well, it is what I have to bear, and you're the one who caused it, so you're responsible. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I've got literally 6 videos on the go. 6! And they're all in, like, various stages of completion. And, you know, somebody could justifiably say, hey, Polly, why don't you just work on one of them until it's finished? And I say, no. No, I'm an erratic genius, not a stable one. So I'm going to work bit by bit on each one and then have all 6 done at the same time. And then somehow declare success while leaving my channel without new videos for like a month and a half. Because that's how you grow a subscriber base, right?
I don't know how any of this works. You have more subscribers than I do, so
yeah,
you have a better grasp on how this works than I do.
Man, when I eventually get my merch store up, I have said it so often that I'm just going to turn it into a t-shirt. I don't understand YouTube. I literally don't. I don't get any of the fucking things about YouTube. Shady Grin asks, that thumbnail is awesome. Which is it? That is the Magdalena. And I know I used her recently on another thumbnail like 3 weeks back, but whatever, man. I'm going to read the Magdalena, and she's actually a subject that I want to bitch about tonight, Jack. I have references, I have citations and proof and comic pages of something bad that's happened, but you know what else is new? We're talking about comics, am I right? Yeah, Shady,
bad things seem to happen a lot.
Yeah, I pitched that series, I don't know, a number of weeks back. I think that was when Sinatra was on. When I pitched it, yeah, you can go back and see it. That's a fairly recent previous pitch of mine, the Magdalena. I love that thumbnail, man. That's some fan art that I grabbed. Some people do some great art.
Oh yeah.
Dick Thompson said, isn't genius a bit of a stretch? Yes, but if I don't lie on my behalf, who's going to? It's up to me to exaggerate my own import.
It's called puffing.
Yeah.
It's like a car salesman. Sometimes you gotta sell yourself.
I mean, you're damn right it's a stretch. You're fucking pulling muscles over here, but, you know, come on. Let's see. A lot of rumors flying around. A lot of repeated rumors flying around, but I don't want to get started on those quite yet. I think I want to get started on this story that you sent to me, Jack, because, well, I'm feeling cynical, and I'm cynical about this story, so let's start there. So let me share the screen for Jacques over here. Your screen. Your screen. Don't fuck up, Chrome. Holy fuck, Chrome didn't fuck up. There we are. Senator Ted Cruz announces bill to halt U.S. funding for Hollywood studios that bow to China. I don't see this going through. Like even remotely.
I don't either. It's too much money to be made.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I understand the backing of it. I get the point of it. I hear you, Senator Cruz. All right, now let's read the story before we go full black pill. Senator Ted Cruz announced a bill called the Script Act, which would cut off consulting and cooperation between the Department of Defense and Hollywood film studios who co-produce their films and censor them on behalf of the Communist Chinese government. That sounds positively reasonable.
Hate fact.
Yeah, I mean, the Department of Defense is taxpayer funded. So you are going to use taxpayer money to fund cooperation with studios so they can film aircraft carriers and aircraft and tanks and soldiers and get all kinds of consultation on military defense and intelligence matters to make their movies, which they then use to promote Chinese propaganda. Wait, what?
Yeah.
No, this sounds perfectly fucking reasonable. This is not an act of a super patriot that's flown off the handle, like namely Ted Cruz. This is an act of someone who's protecting the money of the taxpayers, is how I look at it.
That's not how they're going to see it, though. Because you got to remember that Hollywood also runs a lot of the media, so they start bitching, and the people that want access are going to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. The bill's goal is to... Oh, no, wait a minute, I read that. The bill summary reads, to prohibit the use of Department of Defense funds for production of any films by United States companies that alter content for screening in the People's Republic of China and for other purposes. The bill specifically details that the Secretary of Defense, quote, may not provide technical support or access to any asset controlled by the DoD if the film is co-produced by an entity located in the People's Republic of China that is subject to conditions on content imposed by the official government of the People's Republic of China or the Chinese Communist Party. I hear you. I mean, it's wordy to cover the bases and to name the targets. And in my opinion, Jack, this is immediately going to be called racist, even though they keep pointing that it's the government and the party. Doesn't matter. It's racist and xenophobic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I say it that way on purpose. I know the obnoxious people always call it xenophobic. It's xenophobic, damn you. Thank you very much, Alpha Omega, for reminding me that I forgot to turn my Noir Bar pop-ups off. But you deserve Naked Ava Green on a bed. For the $20 donation, thank you, very generous. Hey, put this towards your new potato fund. And see if you can't get far to make you a Zoot Suit Otter avatar. That's an excellent idea. Hold on, I'm going to make a note of that. You know what a zoot suit is, right, Jack?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like blown out knees and a long coat and the chain swinging and shit with the big over-brimmed hat and the feather as an otter? Come on, man. That's great.
You could have yourself a little zoot suit riot.
Yeah. Well, no. There's some racist baggage attached with that. Thank you very much, Alpha Omega. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see. Cruz described the bill as a wake-up call for Hollywood, where they will need to choose between assistance from the American government and funding from the Communist government of China. Hey! 10% shouldn't be described that way, even though that's totally what they are. It's different. Cruz explained the bill from buying media outlets to broadcast propaganda into American coercing Hollywood studios. And thank you, Mike Parlett, for the $5. Sweet Jessica Alba on $1,000 thread count sheet smoking. Well, I was about to say, no, that's, oh, wait a minute. That's exactly what that pop-up is. Well done. Well done, Mike. Son of a bitch. It's, I don't like when people prod me for forgetting to turn the fucking notifications on to the comic book curation notifications. They already know what everything's going to be, and, you know.
Sin City was a comic book, so it's fine.
It is. Everything that is in Noir Bar is tangentially related to a comic, or at least I can describe it as such, right? I mean, how many completely uncomic book related things have we managed to track back to comics?
It's not an excuse, it's a reason.
Thank you very much, Mike. From buying out American outlets to broadcast propaganda into American coercing Hollywood studios and sports leagues to self-censor by threatening to cut off access to one of the biggest markets for sports and entertainment in the world. The Chinese Communist Party spends billions and billions of dollars to mislead Americans about China and shape what our citizens see, hear, and think. Yes, they do. Also, filthy communists in universities and Hollywood generally do that anyway, which is one of the reasons that are they really being coerced? China's a socialist system that works for the good of its people in a collectivist manner. These people should be trumpeted and lauded. Am I right?
Right? Never mind the breadlines.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Don't worry about the literal ethnocentric concentration camps for the Uyghurs. Don't worry about it. Complain about the Muslims that are being insulted here by random people unconnected with the government and occasionally through stretched interpretation by the president.
Look, if someone backs a truckload of
literal concentration camps,
it's exactly. If you back a truckload of yuan up to someone's house, LeBron James will tell you that it's totally cool.
Mm-hmm.
Organ harvesting, that's a right-wing talking point.
Like even NBA people, are you fucking kidding me? You're bending over for whether or not you see it as an enemy of America. It's literally a competitor of America that any intelligence service will be able to tell you the money that they dump into propaganda to convince the American people of things. Like I said, I don't want a red scare because there was a lot of bad things with it, but can't we have a little bit of a red fright? Maybe a red startle?
I think that'd be a yellow fright. To be fair.
Damn it, Jim.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna demonize them, we got to get the ethnocentric terminology correct.
If I hear the phrase "yellow horde" come out of your lips, I'm closing the stream down.
No, that's called my basement. You leave it alone. Yeah, I don't know. It's look, I like the idea of not supporting the communist, right? Because I don't like communists all that much, but I just don't think this is going to work.
The bill itself?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck no. No, I completely agree. There's no way it's going to pass.
There's just too much money involved.
Yeah. I think it's dead on right, and like as we keep going through it, Hollywood studios have a history of censoring films for international markets. Yes, but no one makes a big deal out of that. And the news entertainers are too interested in the entertainment that comes out of Hollywood to cut off their access by acting as journalists, which they claim to be, by asking the question of, don't you see a problem with censoring your films? And then you constantly talk about artistic expression, but you're willing to bend over immediately for a communist government just to have access to a market? You're not willing to bend over you wouldn't be and shouldn't have to bend over for the American government, whoever currently has been elected to be in charge, to have access to the American market. You wouldn't put up with that shit. Why are you willing to put up with it in China? Oh, we want their money. Oh, so you're whores. You're whores.
I feel very judged, but yes. We learned that with the Weinstein scandal. These people are just whores. They'll do anything for money and fame and influence, and that's exactly what this is. And look at all the movies that China has made changes to over the past several years. It's pretty pathetic. I mean, that started really with that Red Dawn reboot where it became noticeable. Because they had to change all the flags to North Korea. Really?
Here we are. One of the biggest film franchises that is censored for China is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And since that's generalized action, bright colors and stuff, it translates through cultures very well, as opposed to like a deep drama film or a romantic film or a detective film, like where there's a whole fuck ton of culturally relevant things that aren't going to make it through translation very well.
Yeah.
Action, bright colors, fights, superheroes. No, that's fine. That's why the Transformers films, as incredibly vapid as they are a success on the global market, because what are you translating? Run, hurry, now. Like, it's
yeah. But they also did it with Rise of Skywalker. They were going to have some lesbian scene in there, and they confined it to a background kiss. So even the lefties have stuff to get mad about.
Right. Well, but they don't, because they're a bunch of bloody fucking hypocrites, like putting John Boyega all super small on the poster because the Chinese don't like blacks too much.
That's true.
Let's go over to Mary Sue and see if there's an article on that.
Oh, there won't be.
I don't know.
I'd be shocked.
I could see them doing it. Maybe.
Only because it's Ted Cruz. They'll be opposed to anything he says. I can't see those two getting along.
In fact, Doctor Strange writer Robert Cargill intimated that the film cast Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One due to China. Really? Cargill explains, the thing about the Ancient One is it is Marvel's Kobayashi Maru, i.e. the unwinnable scenario. Is that what?
I think so.
There is no other character in the Marvel history that is such a cultural landmine that is absolutely unwinnable. Yeah, okay. Those of you who don't know, deep Star Trek lore here, the Kobayashi Maru is the unwinnable scenario at Starfleet Academy, designed to test how you respond when you can't win. He continued, I've been reading a bunch of people talking about it, and it was really frustrating. And the really frustrating thing about it this week is that most people have thoughts on it, haven't thought it all the way through, and they go, why didn't you just do this? And it's like, I could tell you why. Man, you speak in a disjointed manner, my friend. He added, I could tell you why every single decision that involves the Ancient One is a bad one. Just like the Kobayashi Maru, it all comes down to which way you're willing to lose. Oh, hey, Quiz showed up. What's up, Quiz?
Hey. Sorry about that.
Glad to have you here. Our triumvirate
No
is
worries.
complete. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
He then goes on to detail that if you recognize the Ancient One is from Tibet. Oh, right.
Yeah. They had to change it to a white woman.
As he is in the comics, and you risk alienating China. The Ancient One was a racist stereotype that comes from a region of the world that is a very weird political place. It originates from Tibet, so if you acknowledge that Tibet is a place, not saying that it's full on China.
One China.
Yeah. One China policy. There's no Taiwan. They're a China island. God, we just went full Steven Crowder with the...
Look, we all know that Taiwan is the original island or nation, and Greater China is actually Taiwan Part 2.
It is. Yeah. Like, why not cast Michelle Yeoh? Well, first of all, if Yeoh is awesome, I would love to make a film with Michelle Yeoh. If you think it's a good idea to cast a Chinese actress as a Tibetan character, you're a damn fool and have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
I'd like to make a private movie with Michelle Yeoh in my room.
Oh, into the Asian MILFs, huh?
Oh yeah, I'd bang the shit out of her. She was so hot back in the day. She's still cute.
Oh man, I've never thought about what a great one the Ancient One is for this, because it's like, we all know that, like, casting a white woman, they think, oh my god, whitewashing. We're gonna replace every pale male and sterile character with someone who's a POC or a lesbian or a woman or whatever. But that's a problem. That's not canon. Oh, shut up with the snowflake. You're so fragile. The levels of cultural sensitivity around this thing is that everybody is staking out one particular place and not realizing that every single thing here is a losing proposition. We could pretend the Ancient One doesn't exist, and then we're just eradicating one of the main characters from the story and just not dealing with race. Well, you know what? Eradicating. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. In the upcoming Top Gun sequel, there's also been accused of altering Maverick's iconic jacket in order to appease the Chinese. The film's first trailer, Maverick's jacket, which he got from his father, had removed both the flags of Japan and Taiwan.
Really, they removed the Japan one too.
Well,
yeah,
they're in our sphere of influence.
Ah,
Down there
Japan
in our
and China
water.
hate each other.
Oh, I know they do, but you know, it's but they're not the one China. So
Oh man. Anyway, let's move on.
Oh, Frosted corrected me. Asian MILFs are pronounced MIRFs.
Right. Yeah. Oh, hey, quiz! You're just in time. We're going to talk about Tiki Watiki. Tiki Watiki to direct new Star Wars movie. Leslie Headland confirmed to helm new Star Wars series. My God.
who the hell is Leslie Helm?
Oh, you don't know?
Oh, dude, look that one up because
Yeah, let's go over to CBR and look at
in.
that story right now. Then we'll do this one first, then we'll get back to Tiki Watiki. I know that's not how you say his name. I just don't fucking care. Fuck that guy.
No, fuck
Yeah,
that
no.
guy.
He's no,
Star
he's
Wars
awful.
confirms Disney Plus series from Russian Doll creator. That the series Russian Doll, or the movie Russian Doll, or something to do with dolls from Russia. Leslie Headland will write, executive produce, and act as showrunner for the new Disney Plus series set in the Star Wars universe. Okay, weren't you here last week? We talked about this.
Is this the one lady that was said to have been given a project before corporate
Yes.
acknowledged it? Okay.
Exactly who she is, yeah. And it looks like her power move worked. Like her and Kathleen Kennedy's power move. We're going to go announce this to sycophantic media, make it look in every way like it's an official pitch release from Disney. Here's what we've got coming out. It has all the details, all of the earmarks of an official release from Disney, but isn't. Nobody at Disney and nobody at Lucasfilm knew of it. They had no storyboards, no costumes, no scripts, no nothing. And they went and announced that they were doing it. And people at Lucasfilm were like, what series is this? And people at Disney were like, we okayed how many billions of dollars for what? And it was the insinuation and the guesswork, and it is all guesswork, but it's like this was a power play on the part of Kathleen Kennedy, whose contract is up next year as the head of Lucasfilm. And she wants somebody in place who's like her little acolyte, and that's Headland, who's also a superpower feminist, the future is female, etc., etc. The show that she pitched is a female-centered, comedy-heavy series based in the Star Wars universe.
That sounds like a terrible idea. You got to think that at some point too, this power play sort of thing. What was Disney actually going to do? Put the kibosh on it, like 100%, and just say no, you can't have this show. You need to okay it with us first. It already leaked to Access Media. Mm-hmm. There's no way they could say no at that point.
That's the guesswork for the brinksmanship that was at play. Exactly what you just described. Can we undo this? And it says a lot that the managing director and CEO of Disney Corp is that afraid of being called a sexist.
Yeah.
I mean, really? How about fire someone for ignoring the chain of command and okaying billions of dollars that they're not okay to okay for themselves?
No, it's easier to just dish out a bunch of money than have to deal with the screeching harpies on Twitter. It seems to be the mentality.
I'm telling you guys, we need to harness the Karens. People misunderstand it. Like the Karens are like a force of nature. They're out there. It's like the wind. You just build a strong house and windmills. You know, try and fight it.
What if we convince them that pastel colored hair dye causes like boob cancer or something?
That's what I'm saying. You like harness the Karens by the Second Amendment is about empowering women, that they won't be overtaken by men. Oh my God, there'll never be another gun right interfered with ever again if the Karens are on board. Because the screeching fat butter whale harpies will show up at any state legislature that attempts to pass something that interferes with a woman's right to defend herself against evil patriarchy. Think about it. She needs to get them on board.
Are Karens inherently inherently feminist?
No, but I'm trying to think of some way of angling towards them. I'm just spitballing here. I mean, really, you just got to get them angry about something that they believe has intruded upon them in some fashion or another, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they'll have a fucking half-hour argument in a restaurant with a manager because their chicken was cold. You just got to figure out whatever it is to get them all on board. Usually it's access to power, if you've noticed that. They like having, like, they believe that they have a power position, like that woman who came out screaming at that guy in the viral video that, I just called the police on you because you're not supposed to be breaking quarantine. I don't know if you saw that video clip, but it was ridiculous. Your ass is grass. Well, she
Which one? There's several. Is the one crazy bitch in England saying that 5G kills people?
What are you saying? It doesn't?
I don't think Quiz is aware of the truth, Polly.
Well, I mean, I am not going to allow you to spread disinformation on my channel, Inquisitor. The menace of the 5G towers needs to be exposed.
You take your theory about the reptilian menace and the towers they bring, and you put that on your crackpot channel, mister.
Yeah, so I don't know if this story, where's the headland? Isn't the only, I mean, this is on CBR. They're total chill access media. So it's like, oh, it's so wonderful. There's a woman in charge. It's great. Headland isn't the only newcomer to the Star Wars universe. As revealed in the same announcement, Thor Ragnarok director Tiki Watiki will also helm a new Star Wars feature film, with 1917 scribe Christy Wilson Cairns co-writing the script with him. Future Star Wars projects for Disney include Cassian Andor series featuring Diego Luna reprising his role as the titular rebel spy from Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and an Obi-Wan Kenobi series starring Ewan McGregor. Wait, what?
Wait, is it actually going to happen this time, or
50-50?
Oh, they have been blue-balling people with this for so long. Ewan McGregor, as we talked about, and laughed our asses off at. Happy's finally able to stop lying to people, as he said, that this series was going to happen, and it's not. Ewan McGregor, man, I can't believe they're still talking about this fucking series. Yeah,
that's the thing, man. They're not going to realize that they've backed the wrong horse until they've lost in everything. They are the worst race day addict. They're going to keep funneling money into this until they have completely fucked themselves, and they're going to keep doing it because, you know, the people who actually go to see these movies have seen the writings on the wall. They've not made the kind of money that Lucasfilm and Lucasfilm and Disney have been wanting. So because of that, you know, all you guys need to do is hold true to your principles and not go see these movies, not engage with these stories, not give Disney your money for Disney Plus. It's very easy. Yo ho!
Yeah,
this is actually
that's not going to happen though.
This is the perfect time to fight back against Disney too by not buying their stuff, because their theme parks are shut down. They're bleeding $30 million a day, according to some sources, and their cruise ships are down. They can't put movies in theaters. The only thing that's actually producing a lot of revenue for them right now is Disney Plus. And all their productions are shut down as well. So they're way behind on everything. And Marvel's not producing comic books until like next week or whatever. So they've been hemorrhaging money for a couple months now. And that's the perfect chance for people to break the Disney habit and say, I'm not supporting this bullshit anymore. But I don't have faith mass of amounts of people will do that, but we can always hope.
Well, as I say, the thing about it is the reason why people are still going to support things like Disney Plus is because of normies wanting classic, Disney cartoons and the stupid Disney show teeny bopper TV shows and all that kind of the Disney Channel
that's what I'm
shit.
saying. That's why it's not going to happen. I mean, the Chinese market and the foreign market in general, like for movies and such. And I realize, yeah, they're not filming. I agree, or they're not putting them in theaters. And AMC's got its problems, but I don't know. I'm very cynical on all this stuff. I think they're going to weather through it just fine.
Yeah. I would like to see them suffer some consequence, but they're just going to keep throwing this shit out until their brand is so badly damaged, like Quiz said, that it's almost beyond repair. But they are under investigation in South Korea for a monopoly because they had Frozen 2 in 80% of the theaters. Like, that you can't get away from it at that point.
When I hear that something like that's happening, I start to think that, like, okay, and this is a government with their hand out. That's a shakedown, not an attempt to break a monopoly.
Yeah.
Again, that's just me. Again, that's cynical. I don't know, but when I hear of stuff like that, it's like, we're starting a new investigation into this company. Okay, you're looking for, like, you're going to come up with a new tax structure whereby they're going to pay a certain amount that will go into the state coffers. That was a fucking shakedown. The state wanted money, so they started an investigation to get money out of you, and they can't just pay a donation to the state. So they do it in the form of, okay, well, we agree to pay this tax. Okay, we'll write up the tax like this, and then boom, it was a shakedown. And I think that that's what South Korea was doing. But that, I don't know. That's just a guess.
Well, I mean, I'd be shocked to learn if the numbers weren't similar or better in terms of what theaters here in the U.S. carried Frozen 2 when that came out.
Oh, it would be very high, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a Disney film. Any theater would be retarded not to put that on their showing list.
Yeah. Oh, Jake corrected me. It was 80% screens, not theaters.
It's even worse. It's so bad. Yeah, like 20 theaters on a megaplex or 20 screens or 10 screens, and they did, 8 out of 10.
They played Parasite on the other 2.
Jesus Christ, exactly. So a bunch of stuff going on here in chat. Tyrai says that Annie Oakley was strongly in favor of the Second Amendment, believed that a woman with a gun made her equal to a man with a gun. Yes, but Annie Oakley is her own special brand of awesome. That's, man, I love Annie Oakley. Her real life, actual historical story is just as great as you'd want it to be. So it's like, yeah, you'd think that feminists might hold up Annie Oakley as a feminist hero, but no, she's probably a wrong thinker in their opinion or something.
She was married to a man,
right?
She had a gun. Excuse me,
probably some kind of Republican wrong thinker. In any case, going. Okay, I guess I didn't have it. Okay, well, whatever. Tyler Lanot said that people think the Australia rating Cyberpunk 2077 18 plus isn't censorship. Is it? Does that mean that things have to change underneath? What changes once it's? I mean, obviously, kids can't have access to it. Like, is that the idea? It's being censored for children when it shouldn't be. Hey there, on Holly Reaper. What's up? Yeah, I don't know how restrictive what the results of ranking system, labeling system in Australia would be. Let's talk about Tiki Watiki. Yeah. Tiki Watiki to direct new Star Wars movie. Leslie Headland confirmed to helm new Star Wars series. Let's hear about Tiki Watiki series. This is the guy who directed Thor Ragnarok and then couldn't resist being a voice in the movie himself because he thinks his accent is just hilarious.
He thinks he's hilarious in general, and it's really annoying.
Yeah. Disney provides the specifics in a press release. Academy Award winner Tiki Watiki, who recently won Best Adapted Screenplay for Jojo Rabbit and directed the widely acclaimed first finale episode of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, will direct and co-write a new Star Wars feature film for theatrical release. Joining Watiki on the screenplay will be Academy Award nominee Christy somebody or other from 1917 and Last Night in Soho, who received a BAFTA award for Outstanding British Film of the Year and 3-time Oscar-winning film for 1917. Yeah, fuck BAFTA. Like, seriously. That's a bigger joke than the Oscars, and I mean, that's me really trying to hurt them. You guys are almost as uncredible as the Pulitzer Prize Committee at this point. No release date for the film was announced back in February. Watiki avoided a question regarding his involvement in Star Wars. He told E.T., listen, what does approached even mean? I've seen Star Wars. That's about as far as I got. Oh, Tiki, you're so funny. Rick, you know, Quiz, remember that one night where we were spitballing this fantasy where we'd be like a couple of drunkards in Hollywood that crash Hollywood parties, and we'd sit down at a table and find out who was sitting at the table, and Damon Lindelof is like the script writer, quote unquote writer, is sitting at the table, and so we just start talking to each other more than loudly enough to be heard, and be like, oh God, that Prometheus script, it was just awful. I mean, what was the black goo? No one even ever explained it. What was the point? There's like 7 story threads that started, and the whole thing was supposed to be, oh, depth of exploration of what it means to be human, with no depth given, just superficial questions asked to convince the audience that the scriptwriter had some kind of idea of philosophy or where he was going or a vision for the film. It's like, oh yeah, that's it. Bring up some ideas and just keep going. Until Lindelof stands up and screams, that was a fine script, you bastards, and runs away crying. And then we go to the next table.
Yeah.
I like this idea. I think you should have a GoFundMe to make it happen.
Until the large angry black man comes over and is doing security and says, can I see you gentlemen's invites, please? And it's like, oh shit, man, let's go. And then we just run through the door real quick. Let us crash press junkets. Let me ask Tiki Watiki questions.
Well, I think it speaks to something here, when the fact that we can cynically come up with this idea because absolutely no one around the entertainment industry is honest enough to say the things that we're thinking. You know, everyone's got their head so far up everyone's ass because they don't want to get fired, because they don't want to lose their shill access media privileges, because they don't want to. And no one's honest. Every single person is nothing but a bundle of lies in Hollywood, in entertainment media, and entertainment reporting. And it's sickening.
Well, even better, they would be like, what's your angle on this? What are you gaining from this?
It's a massive circle jerk, and my gain is to see ivory towers crumble.
Yeah, but they're not going to believe that. They're going to take the cynical approach of saying that your ulterior motive of wanting good movies is somehow a game into itself.
Because I want access into the media.
Yeah, they'll think you're trying to just get like shoehorn into the job, but
literally anyone else could write better stories than some of those people.
Oh yeah, but it's a bunch of nepotistic, incestuous relationships. They're a bunch of half-wit whores, effectively.
Speaking of half-wit whores,
Harvey Weinstein.
No, Neil Gaiman.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with Scarlett Johansson. I just thought of cottage cheese.
I have never made any claims to her intelligence level, nor her personality,
or her dick sucking ability.
I am just...
No, that's evident in the fact that she gets roles. Well,
it started her career rolling. I don't think she has to suck dicks anymore to get them. That's just how she started her career. It's different. It's different.
Yeah, she doesn't have to try anymore. Just look at her cottage cheese thighs.
It's like it's like Jennifer Bow lady there. What's her name?
I need more than that to go on.
she released the fucking her own fappening photos and then claimed that she was horribly
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. Thank you.
J Law.
Yeah, J Law.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Jennifer Bow lady. You know.
Yeah, giraffe neck Jennifer.
Oh, her name was Katniss, which is an adjective meaning of or pertaining to cat. All right.
As in cat lady. I got it.
Wait a minute, why was I talking about Jennifer? Oh yeah, she jerked off a bunch of people to get jobs in Hollywood, but she doesn't need to do that anymore. Is alleged.
Allegedly, yes.
Yeah, it's not a bully stream.
Not a bully stream.
No,
No.
I don't know any. I don't care about any of these people, so I don't have time to bully them.
Neil Gaiman wants trans writers to work on Netflix adaptation of his Sandman series. Imagine this in another context. I'd sure like some blacks to write my scripts.
To me, this sounds like, yeah, I'll let women work on my show, but they're really gonna be men.
It's fucking stupid. Neil Gaiman. I have my own bone to pick with Neil Gaiman, and it has to do with Spawn, which I don't know if the Kickstarter's still up, but everyone should go check that out.
Yeah, because it's really hurting. We got to promote it.
Oh, dude. No, it's not the fact that we need to promote it. It's the fact that I want to see this be the message that gets through to places like Marvel and DC.
Well, man, they've got force fields up and multiple layers of armor, nothing getting through. But speaking of promoting, thank you, Evolved Potato, for putting our links in chat. Greatly appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, the Spawn Kickstarter, by the way, is up to 2,730,000.
Holy fuck! Seriously?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I just got the link in chat. It's got 39 hours to go.
Bitch.
Yeah.
It broke 2 fucking million.
Oh yeah, it broke 1 million like the night after we did the first stream on it. So it didn't take long to get to 2 mil. It's actually slowed down quite a bit.
You know that. Todd McFarlane is just strutting around. Like, and I don't mean figuratively. I mean literally strutting like a fucking peacock going, this guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's added all kinds of upgrades because I don't think he understood the stretch goal thing until somebody had to have explained it to him, because he clearly didn't consider that at all. So, yeah, they added a bunch of stretch goal stuff, and they've crushed every single one. So, yeah.
Nuts. I mean, good for him because, he hasn't gone full retard yet, and he's just like promoting his original property and doing his shit, man. So good for him. Like it.
Yeah.
Well, he was hands off for a very long period. I think he only wrote maybe again, I've only read Spawn up to issue 200. Last I knew, I think he stopped around issue 40 something. He had a completely different team doing the art and the writing, and it wasn't until recently that he came back to writing it. So it's refreshing to see him taking the tack of wanting to advance his comic. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying it's I like seeing stuff like that from Todd McFarlane, and I think it's speaking to the fact that Image might be trying to get itself back on track, at least in some regards.
I hope so. Look, he helped revolutionize creators' rights for comic professionals, but he also revolutionized action figures. And I think that really goes underserved a lot, because for the collector market, he made toys that collectors want to display. It's not just some rando action figure that makes you look like you're an immature man baby. He made figures that actually look like statues that you can still kind of play with. But
you're kind of afraid to. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because they're so cool, and you don't want to break it by going pew, pew. But yeah, it's amazing what he's been able to do in his career, and he's just coming back to show everybody how to Kickstarter and crowdfund. He sold this on his name and reputation.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be Spawn. He could have put up a turd figure with 42 points of articulation of Mr. Hanky, and people would have backed it because they're like, "Oh, it's McFarlane. It's going to be good."
Yeah.
Hell.
So real quick, Ryan Walters says, "What does Neil Gaiman have to do with it?" I can give the Cliff's notes here, the really quick Cliff's notes. There was a character in Spawn named Angela. She was an angel that hunted Hellspawn. She first appeared fairly early. I want to say she was in either the teens or even before. Let me just.
Well, while you're doing that, because we're running an exceptionally short show tonight, and I got to, so you find that, and I'll read the story, because I got to get going pretty quick. Neil Gaiman's Sandman comic has featured transgender characters and dealt with related issues, making the Vertigo title ahead of its time in a lot of ways. As such, the author wants to have trans writers on the team for the next upcoming Netflix series. Wait. You wrote a trans character and you yourself weren't trans? You fucking bigot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's the outrage about that?
Fuck.
Yeah, she first appeared in issue 9, and Todd McFarlane. It was written by Neil Gaiman. I believe Todd McFarlane had something to do with the issue, whether he wrote it or drew it or something, of Spawn. But because of that, there was a claim to joint ownership of the character between Gaiman and McFarlane. And Gaiman took McFarlane to court about it and won. So what did Gaiman do with the character Angela, a Spawn character? He took her over to Marvel and made her a character. She's not an angel, she's a Valkyrie now. And so she's tied with the Thor mythos. And for those in the know about comic books, if you remember the two misogynistic filth, unsolicited opinions on Israel, that was in an Angela comic, a Marvel Angela comic. So, you know, the degrees of Kevin Bacon. The reason why she's no longer with Image and a Spawn character and is now propagating unsolicited opinions on Israel in Marvel is due entirely because of Neil Gaiman. So fuck Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
And I like that character in Spawn.
So Neil Gaiman goes on a YouTube channel or goes on a podcast, whatever the fuck. Oh, a Hugo Award-winning science fiction and fantasy writer Nora K. Jameson conversation, and then it was
sounds like a bitch.
YouTube. Yeah, I don't care. It's like awards are fucking meaningless. Meaningless. Now they are anyway. Pulitzer prizes, fucking shit. Eisner Awards are fucking pointless. They're diversity and virtue signal awards. Just look at the winners for the past 5 years. It's nuts. Yeah. The comics fucking suck. They're not awarding the comic creators. They're awarding people for sexual orientation and skin color. It's weird. Anyway, so there's a trans character in one of Gaiman's stories, Game of You. Specifically, Gaiman says he requests that there be trans men and trans women in the writer's room. My biggest request to the Sandman showrunner for when we get to the season with Game of You in it is that we have trans men and trans women in the writer's room, not as consultants, but as writers, because I don't want to be a fucking bigot like I have been for years, having created a character and not being trans myself. I added that last part on. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is sort of shameless pandering. It's kind of lazy.
It is shameless pandering. It's like everyone's gonna really love me for this, and Gaiman's like Gaiman, whatever, however you pronounce it, and Jordan's like, wait a minute, his name's Gaiman, like whatever.
It's Game. It is Gaiman.
I don't care.
Yeah, how much of a token is this person gonna feel like when they get in the writer's room? Because everybody's gonna be like, you're a diversity hire.
Yeah, but when. But But it doesn't stop anyone from looking at Damon Lindelof and saying, yeah, but you suck when he walks in the writer's room. Nobody says that.
Well, don't worry. Neil will hire the best of the best. He'll get Mags of Saggio in there.
Right.
And we'll have a 30-minute long diatribe because everybody talks a lot in Mags's books.
You know, Gamer Valine's here. Hey, Gamer. And I'm disappointed and I have a bone to pick with you. I'm subbed to her channel and I went over there to see a stream and it was called the No Cleavage stream and I thought that was ironic. There actually was no cleavage. Watched the whole thing waiting for cleavage and there was none. I mean...
Oh, that's on you.
Well, YouTube is full of irony. I thought it was sarcasm. Anyway. Let us move along before we run out of time, which we're doing here. Guns drawn on Stormtrooper cosplayers celebrating Star Wars Day because... Yeah. Everyone talked about this, and I have a particular shtick on it. But, you know, do it. What was supposed to be a simple Star Wars Day promotion at a local pub in Alberta, Canada, turned into a tense situation when local police drew their guns and arrested a 19-year-old Stormtrooper cosplayer named Ashley. Coco Vanilla Galactic Cantina owner. Really? That's what you called your store? That's great.
Yeah, it's like a sci-fi Star Wars theme restaurant kind of place.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome. That's great. Okay.
I know, right?
Dude, there used to be a theme restaurant here in Chicago that like all of the decor and everything like that was straight out of Star Trek.
Yeah. There's a D&D cafe in Denver. So where you could go play D&D. So, Browncoat corrected me. He said they're not diversity hires, they're affirmative action figures.
Yes, they're members of an evolved workforce.
Yeah,
I personally love that at my campus and multiple others. They don't call them. It's not a diversity action or an affirmative action hire. They call it workforce evolution. They're members of the evolved workforce. Anyway,
so that just means that you are unevolved. You fucking Neanderthal.
Yeah, I mean, Evolved Potatoes says, there's the problem. You live in Canada. I was watching AP's stream, and man, he's really bitter about the, well, it's Canada. And he's like, what, are you kidding me? You don't think cops would do this in the States? Yeah, they would. They wouldn't have arrested her. They would have fucking just shot her. I mean, this is a lesser example of, this is the insanity of it. The overuse of authority is consistent. I tended to agree with his argument, just with less swears and N-bombs. Coco Vanilla Galactic Cantina owner Bradley Whalen told Lethbridge News Now, LNN, how it all began. We had music playing in the parking lot. We had one of our staff dress up as a stormtrooper, kind of waving people to walking up. Oh, yeah, that's goddamn noticeable, especially when that's what she was doing outside. It was actually to bring...
Yeah, like a sign waiver.
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah. Like a sign waiver. Okay, that's what she was doing out there. Okay. I thought she was just like, I don't know, walking up to the store or whatever. I've seen the full clip, but I didn't understand why she was outside. Getting pictures with the Stormtrooper, of course. We put out a couple of promotions on the restaurant to entice people to come in. And then things went horribly awry. The news reported that a female employee arrived at the establishment at 10 a.m. and the Stormtrooper was in her Stormtrooper outfit 20 minutes later. However, the Lethbridge Police Service reportedly received 2 911 calls for a firearms complaint. They dispatched a number of officers. Yeah, if memory recalls, 3 cars plus a canine unit, automatic weapons, well, at least the one guy had, and shotguns, and the one female cop's going, get down on the ground, I'm in power.
Yeah.
The one cop that approached the guy that was filming it absolutely had an assault rifle.
Like a literal one, because, you know, cops and select fire, right? And that armor is effective as it is in the films, meaning not. So, you can hear the police telling the cosplayer to get down on the ground. No, bellowing at her like a fucking banshee meaninglessly. After police issued the command a number of times, you can see the cosplayer get down on her knees. However, it wasn't satisfactory for the female officer. Going to be heard be saying again, get down on the ground. Again, not saying. You can go ahead and say it. We've all seen the clip. Screaming like someone who's lost their fucking mind and is on a ridiculous fucking power trip.
Well, this is why I don't like women cops, because if somebody was going to do the shooting first in this, it'd been that female cop. Sorry, most women cannot handle the stress that comes with a dangerous situation the same way men can. We compartmentalize better. I know that sounds sexist. I don't care. I've been around enough women in high stress situations that they do not tend to handle it as well most of the time. And I really think this could have gone really bad really quick.
Yeah.
Frosted Glass says these blaster hits too accurate for Canadians.
So true.
So the story goes on, and I encourage you guys to go watch the clip if you haven't seen it, because seeing it in its full, like, I mean, look at this fucking beast who now has authority for the first time in her life. And it, like, once they get her helmet off and it's a girl and you can hear her crying and wailing, and it's like, she didn't immediately respond to commands. She didn't refuse commands or try running away. She stood there startled and confused as to what the fuck was going on, because there's a canine barking and firearms out of nowhere, and had no idea. Like, I don't think people really stop and think about the term "when you least expect," what that means. Like, if cops were to break through the door right now, that would be when I least expect. You know what I mean? I'd be like, you're gonna spend a couple of seconds going, "What the ever loving fuck is happening?" They can't be here for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a huge part of what was going through her mind. Like, this can't be about me. They're not screaming this at me. I'm just here in a plastic Halloween costume or whatever. Yeah, anyway, it goes nuts. The part that I love so much, and I'm just going to skip through it. Like I said, you should really go check out the clip if you haven't seen it, because this is just... Founding in the Comics does a great job of summarizing everything, except they kind of keep describing it as telling her. Yeah, telling her like a screaming hellborn banshee. So the criticism comes out. She must be traumatized. She's got guns pointed at her because she came to work today to dress up as a Stormtrooper to promote Star Wars Day, and lasted an hour before she had guns pointed at her. I'm sitting there wondering, what are people thinking about my business now? What is the business owner saying? After the incident gained wide attention. Oh, wait a minute. I skipped over the critical part here. I love the description police always give. And it doesn't, like, I mean, for the people saying, yeah, it's Canada, what do you expect? No, fuck that, because look at the description. How familiar does this fucking sound? Anytime our officers are responding to something that's very spontaneous and where there's a weapon involved, our first responsibility is to ensure we can create a safe environment for the officers, for the public, and for the individual itself. Itself?
Oh, that's PC.
Oh,
talk.
I know. It's just that far gone. This is from the... like, this is straight boilerplate cut and paste responses. Like, to ensure a safe environment where everybody is, and we're here to make sure that our officers make it home at night, and the same lines go into describing everything. The person did not comply with the police verbal directions. Eventually they did, after multiple repeated orders were given by the officers. He then adds that the officers pushed the individual down to the ground. And that's it, right? And then all of a sudden it gains widespread attention where people actually see what happened. Like, literally see what happened. And the response is this. After the incident gains widespread attention to do the video, Lethbridge Chief of Police is calling for an investigation into the officer's actions. CTV News reported that, quote, Chief Scott Woods initiated an investigation on the Alberta Police Act to determine whether the responding officers acted appropriate within the scope of their training and LPS policies and procedures. Let me tell you something. It's always the same, because it's not the officers that are responsible. If they find that they did something wrong, then it's the training that needs to be affected, and then they claim that they will do a reevaluation of their training procedures. It's never an individual that's responsible. See the game? From day one.
But,
like, an officer can go way off the handle and exceed their authority in an insane way and cause physical harm to somebody when it didn't call for it. And the responsibility is not that individual officers. It's not the police department that recruits people like this, that doesn't exclude people like this. The problem is with their training procedures, which we are now going to revisit at this time, a year and a half later, when everybody's already forgotten the story.
Yeah, well, they're going to revisit it and change nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's a series of problems. You've got people that should be cops being hired because of whatever reason. You've got people that are bad choices to be cops, who either can't handle the stress, aren't psychologically prepared for it, or they just are good at following orders. Then you've got shitty training, and they don't have real world scenario training for a lot of these situations. So they don't have any experience to draw from. So it's hard to de-escalate yourself when your adrenaline's going if you've never been in that situation before. And if you look at these cops, these don't look like the seasoned professional types. They look like the bench warmer team. And on top of that, you've got a really tense situation because they're just started outlawing firearms in Canada, thanks to Trudeau's declaring himself Caesar, I guess, and skipping the legislature. So, and plus Canadians don't have nearly as many rights as we do anyway. I'm shocked this girl did get killed because it's hard to hear in those helmets.
Yeah,
My
right.
roommate used to have a Stormtrooper costume. I know how hard it is for people to move quickly in those. So getting down on the ground was probably very difficult to begin with because of the cod piece.
Mhm.
And even for a girl. But the helmet also muffles sound. So they couldn't understand her. She couldn't hear half of what they were saying, I'm sure. There was a failure on every level that probably would have led to her death if she had made one wrong move.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ryan Walters here brought it up. Get down on the ground with a stormtrooper costume. It's not that articulate. Yeah. And I say, and screaming like a fucking wounded deer to get down on the ground when someone is in this sort of inarticulate costume. If she'd have been sit there and said, even if she would have said, "Hey, can I take the helmet off so I can hear you better?" You know that as soon as she went for the helmet, she would have been perforated like a fucking, written
absolutely.
check.
But see, the screaming comes from two things. One, the girl couldn't hear her, so they would have had to scream at her because those things are really dampening on noise.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, that's the adrenaline of the officers who are obviously all jacked up. Either they're frightened or they're excited. In either case, that's terrifying. But
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the shouting because a lot of times people will only respond if you shout at them. So if it had been somebody up on PCP or something, you're going to have to shout at them. That I have no problem with the shouting. It's the going in heavy-handed right away like that. Once they realized, they should have had the common sense to realize that this was a publicity thing really quick. It's obviously not a real gun. And there's even early on, you should have realized this was a fake gun.
I've just got to wonder, okay, have these people not, I would not be the one to criticize here, but have these people never even heard of Star Wars? They should have known, seeing her in costume. Now, costume by itself does not absolutely 100% negate the fact that she could be a, live shooter scenario. But you gotta think that it raised some fucking flags when you saw her in costume.
Yeah, well, it's the costumes are kind of a giveaway when you're standing out in front of a sci-fi themed cantina. And these guys, this should be their regular beat. They should know what this place is. Mm-hmm. So if they didn't know that it was May the 4th as a promotion, okay, I can buy that. Maybe they're not nerds. But you're seeing someone in a Stormtrooper costume in front of the restaurant. It should have been kind of a giveaway that, hey, maybe this isn't it. But more to the point, like I was talking with Jack Gunsky and Next 6 Minutes and another gentleman I'm not familiar with a little while ago, and they pointed out that when she threw the gun down and it clanked, it's obviously a plastic gun.
Yeah.
Because a real gun makes a much different noise than a plastic gun. So they should have kind of relaxed a little bit there, but they never de-escalated, and they did try and stop people from filming it.
Yeah.
Oh, so, that's what I strongly suggest, because it's like we kind of want to wrap this story up here, but that's why I encourage you to go watch the whole video to see this gentleman officer here walk over, and he's the one with the automatic 5.56. It's like, stop recording. What are you doing? Get back. Just get back. He goes, you record if you want to, but I don't want you staying any closer. And then they drive a police truck in between there to deliberately block the scene from the person. Yeah. It was deliberate and intentional. There was no other reason to pull that truck in than to block that guy from continuing to record, because it's like, oh, wait a minute. I think we might have just really made an oopsie here. It's like, oh, you think?
Yeah.
Because the mindset going in is not de-escalating. I'm not saying don't defend yourself when you start getting fired at and people are pointing guns at you or running at you with a weapon or running at you weaponless. Like, I'm not saying that, but were any of those things happening is my question. You guys, I would love to talk to the police to be able to write down a list of what they're going to say before they say it. I would love to do a fucking screen, whatever fucking Skype interview with the individual officers and have on one side of the screen up, okay, here's their boilerplate as taught responses when anyone ever asks about any of the things. Well, in our job, we come into it and our lives are in danger. We're the thin blue line between law and chaos. And when we're called, we don't know what's going on. And there's recent mass shootings that we can reference and blah, 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 blah. All explanations that are really not explaining anything. They're just look over here, look over here, look over here. Training, training, training. It's not my fault. What do you mean? And you look like an ungrateful asshole for asking any questions. And I would love the only way to show how incredibly planned out and deliberate it is, the approach would be to, just type out what they're going to say before they say it. Bullet point style. They're going to make reference to this. They're going to make reference to recent mass shootings. They're going to make reference to their training. They're going to make reference to protecting the lives of citizens when really it had nothing to do with any of that. It's all just heavy-handed, militarized police action.
Well, that's the problem. Is I'm willing to cut them a little bit of slack because it is a high-stress job. But you took that job knowing that. Officer safety does not trump the safety of the public. That's your job, to go into dangerous situations. If you don't like that, you shouldn't have been a cop. But they're hiring people that are like adrenaline junkies and people that seem to have the training or common sense to de-escalate a situation. So there's a lot of problems here that need to be addressed, and the video doesn't help the cops at all. And this is a bad time for something like this to go viral when they're already doing a buyback in Canada. A bunch of people at home with too much free time on their hands. Mm-hmm. I will be shocked if there aren't protests, and even though this is Canada, where protests probably are just drunken parties, but I'm more shocked this woman isn't dead. Yeah. Quite honestly. I think this was a major fuck up, and these cops need to be fired. But at the same time, I don't necessarily say they did everything wrong. They just overreacted to the situation.
I think that we'll start seeing the change that we need to see when other officers stop protecting these officers that fuck up.
Yeah,
that'll never happen. Come on,
that will never happen. Yes, we know, but
it's
that's the sort of thing that needs to happen, though.
They need to get the unions to calm their tits, because they're the ones keeping these bad officers in.
Well, you guys know the drum that I love to beat. Who's responsible? The news entertainers. Because they need access to the police to tell them when busts are going down and what's happened, and to actually answer their questions when they show up at press briefings and stuff. And if you say anything negative about the police, you will suddenly find yourself without any access to law enforcement information, and you can't afford that. So then you become a de facto police press agent, because you're not willing. You have to put a positive spin on anything. You're saying, like, what's the one thing that's going to have to change? Well, I guess people could talk about the democratization of information and journalism, since you have citizen journalists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but they're all conspiracy theorists, according to news sources, right? They're all the nut bars out there, and a lot of them are.
And you also have to worry about retaliation from some of these bad cops, because they have access to all your information and they know where you live. So maybe you have an emergency and they decide to kind of slow roll it.
Well, they also have the authority to do whatever the hell they want, and at that point too.
But what's the fear of a problem? There's not going to be public outrage, or the public isn't aware of anything to be outraged over. There will be no protests if they're not. And when the news media is saying, "Oh, this thing happened, but we went and talked to them, and it's totally in line with their training. Plus, they're starting an investigation, which is going to sure ferret out any problems." Moving on, let's talk about Donald Trump.
Yeah,
it's just, and what's going to happen? Well, videos go viral. Everything's fine. There isn't a problem here. We did everything in line with our training. The video goes viral. Oh, we're going to start an investigation. Wait a minute. Why is there a problem now when there wasn't one before? Oh, well, this is a bad PR thing. Well, how do you create bad PR? Either by citizen journalists, meaning somebody with a fucking camera phone recording shit, right? And then putting it online, and then it going viral through social media. I'm amazed it wasn't kiboshed by fucking Twitter or fucking Instagram or wherever the fuck. Facebook, probably.
It probably just spread too quickly for them to really censor it all.
It's not news media talking about it. News media will talk about the social media outrage. Seriously, that's how they'll cover the story, and I have seen it covered as such. It's them talking about, oh, social media is all afire with the, and here's what this one Twitter user said. Oh, fuck off. Thank you, Gamer Valine, for the $5. Sorry, my attack on stream thoughts upset you. Just saying. They were told. Hold on. They told her to get on ground, but they wouldn't let her remove her helmet. My neighbor in Florida was 501st. He was hard to hear through his helmet. He was saving batteries. Ability was limited.
501st, by the way, for those not in the know, are the cosplayers who dress up as stormtroopers.
Yeah, I read it as like he was on 501 Street because she wrote 501 ST. So I was like,
oh.
And I'm like, wait a minute. There's no such thing as the 501st Airborne. What are you talking about, Gamer Valine? Okay, I get it now. Man, you know what? I've really got to flip this screen around because I'm reading the super chats on my separate laptop, and the writing is smaller than on the size of a medicine bottle. I got to increase the size of the fonts. Okay. So running short on time. Thank you, Gamer Valine. This is a super short article. We talked about the orc thing. Orcs are racist last week, right?
Mm-hmm. Obviously.
The motherfucker who started this storm, I mean, just there isn't much to say about it. Here's his original tweet that started this whole fucking thing, like the trend on Twitter, and then people in Access Media writing articles and a domino effect about it. That's it. Blatant racism. I'm in genuine awe that the shit came out for this edition of D&D. Holy shit! And it just describes some stuff like what orcs are like. You're the one who associated that with a given human race in the real world. This isn't associated with, like, it doesn't say they come from the Dark Continent or any other intimations. It just describes what these creatures, these fictional creatures, are like. And that's what everybody's been talking about since it's like, orcs are racist. What the fuck are you talking about? But anyway, this fucker comes out, after all the bullshit. Says, tweet. I know this point's been made before. Most editions of D&D really do work best if you assume the characters are a little bit buffoonish and incompetent and lean into that. That's because the play experience of the D20 system it often uses actually produces like this boring effect where characters can be buffoonish through rolls of the dice and such. It's cool when they succeed, but the game often seems to resist that at a level. This is why D&D is overwhelmingly not my game of choice. And so, Bounding into Comics here writes up an article. It's like, really? D&D is overwhelmingly not your game of choice, but that doesn't stop you from going on Twitter and talking about it. Well, let's see. Why would he have talked about a game that's not his game of choice? Well, I'll tell you why. All said right here. So, in between InfoWars, The Quartering, Sargon, and The Slavery Defender at Psych Today, I'd say I'm hitting a bunch of metrics that indicate my orc tweet was 1,000% correct based on their outrage. You clout-chasing whore. You were looking for internet pee-pee touches. And you got it. Of course.
That's all these people want.
Yeah. And you admitted it. So why were you talking about D&D? Again, this is, by your words, overwhelmingly not your choice, and saying things that you really don't care about because you think the whole D20 system the game is based on doesn't produce very interesting gameplay. But yet you're willing to go through the new edition rule books and interpret things as being incredibly racist. Well, why would you do that on Twitter? Because you're looking to catch attention. You're looking for likes. And his response is, oh, look, InfoWars, Quartering, Sargon, and Slavery Defender at Psych Today all noticed me. I guess I was 1,000% correct. I'm the best, most righteous white person of the day. People actually write that on Twitter. People actually type that out, You won Twitter today. You ever seen that?
No. Yeah. What?
People type that out. You won Twitter today. If they crack the sharpest joke or the, and usually it's some SJW shit. And I don't give a fuck if that's an old term. It fucking describes them. They really believe they're out there fighting a battle.
These are warriors. Thank you. They are the bravest of the brave. Just ask
them. Gamer Valine says, thank you for the donation. She says, I don't need to pause. I'm assuming you mean to read your super chat, but I'm going to for your StreamLabs, right? Because I appreciate StreamLabs. It's only $5. You guys don't have $5 like Gamer Valine does? I mean, what that really means is that you are
Yeah,
not
we-
willing to pay for the entertainment you consume.
Yeah, we need those subs, guys. Come on, we need to get them there.
If you're quarantined at home, then you have $5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going out to eat. You have $5.
You use your stimulus money to
Oh,
stimulate our money.
Say speaking of follow-ups for that sort of thing, do you guys did you guys watch that chick's apology?
I
Yeah, it was-
did, and we'll talk about that in just a quick second, but actually let me finish reading the thing I
Okay.
said I was going to read. Okay.
All right.
501 is expensive, and I'm still thinking about doing it for free Disney tickets. I couldn't afford to go when I was in the military with the discount. I have a soft spot for some of their stuff, even though Disney is evil. The Scout Troopers on Endor still look extremely cool to me.
Yeah.
I don't like the basic. I dig it because it's so iconic, the basic Stormtrooper outfit. But I got to admit, man, that Scout Trooper outfit, the guys on the speeder bikes with the little visor and shit and the different articulation and the elbow joints and stuff, I think they look cool. But,
Yeah.
And if you want to blend in with a forest green environment, what's better than blazing bleach white?
Yeah, right.
You'll be blending in with the bones of your enemies.
More like the bones of their comrades, because considering they all died of fucking teddy bears.
Actually, okay, so we're gonna go on to the Invader Vi thing. Oh yeah, did you guys have any comments? Because you guys play D&D. I've watched videos about it and I appreciate it, but I've never actually played it. Did you any takes further than what I said?
No, this guy knows absolutely nothing and is you nailed it. He's clout chasing. Absolutely.
Yeah. These are people that just want to change anything they remotely disagree with to fit whatever their whims of the moment are.
Yeah.
They're spoiled children.
Check out my my Twitter account. I actually had a pretty long diatribe with one of these retards that tried to claim that orcs are an allegory for black people. I think I acquitted myself very well, and he came off like a hysterical maniac. So yeah, to say if you wanna see my actual thoughts on the topic at hand, it's very easily accessible on my Twitter account, Inquisitor8_1.
You can find it in the description, as well as these gentlemen's StreamLabs and links to my Twitter, and all the requisite information is below.
Before we move on, Evolved Potato asked, Polly, do you have a Patreon yet?
That's one of the things I want to touch on before we go on to Invader VI. No, I don't, but I'm setting one up. I've got a Patreon set up. No, you're not going to be paying for the Patreon. We're not feminist frequency here.
Well, you can
remember that, but that was
the Discord.
That was one of the tiers at the $25,000 mark. They would set up a Discord, and I was like,
well, so you can give us money. You have to give us money first. But you know who does have
a free Discord account?
But do you know who does have a Patreon? Me. And here's my link. Thank you.
There you go. I am setting up a Patreon that's going to do so we can do movie viewings and other things like that. I am resisting setting up a TikTok, even though I know a bunch of people do.
Don't do it.
But not to sing songs, because this little thing called dignity gets in my way. Because people are using it to 3-minute, 2-minute shit posts about stuff. Like they don't want to put together a video, like a full-on edited video for something. And 3-minute and 2-minute videos on YouTube will actually fuck you in the algorithm. They will.
Yeah, believe me, I know.
Right? Like they will damage you more than anything. And it's like, I don't want to pull a Jeremy Hambley. Jeremy, come on, bro. I'm saying this from a place of respect and I like you. Stop stretching 5 minutes into 14 minutes of content. It's obvious. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Seriously, tell your editor to be more aggressive.
No, that's what too many people do, is they just ramble on. And it's boring. Just get to the point.
And so I thought about that because I've seen some people that are doing it over on TikTok. And then I'm thinking, but TikTok, man, Chinese government. And when I say I hate Marxism and communism, I don't make it up. I really do hate it. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't want to go on that, and I don't want to do that. And I thought maybe Instagram would be a better choice for that, because you can do Instagram live streams and put up videos in that way.
Yeah.
And
So
so I
you
thought
can
about that, but so yeah, Evolve Potato and anyone else who gives a fuck. Yes, I am setting up a Patreon. I'm setting up a Discord for that, but it's so we can hang out and watch movies and different things like that that'll be on different tiers. I'm trying to figure it out right now, but remember, I don't understand YouTube, so Patreon's a special challenge for me.
You know, you can also post small videos on Twitter as well.
Yeah, or you could support me on Subscribestar. There's the link right there if you don't want to do Patreon, because I know some people aren't into that.
You know, I'd like to do both, and then people have made this argument because I was a big fan of supporting the Sargon hashtag Patreon purge. Because the way that they kick people off for off-platform things that they said on not their own channel is kind of garbage.
Yeah.
in a really big, ridiculous way, and it's obviously hypocritical. And then when Sargon leaves, they go after Subscribestar and get their fucking payment processor canceled. And so it's pretty obvious you guys are just virtual fucking pricks. So as much as I don't want to see creators cost money, they were cost a bunch of money by the Patreon purge started by Sargon being kicked off. And I was like, hey, fuck it. I want them to suffer. I want them to collapse. Not that I want to see this funding collapse. It's just I want something better in its stead. So I'd like to do both, but then people make this argument that you're splitting and confusing people. So I mean, I don't know what to do.
I disagree with that. I think if some people use preference one over the other, so I would rather have it available for the broader base audience. So if somebody wants to support me on one channel, I put the same extra content up on both. But if those get taken down, I do have a Ko-Fi as well. Or coffee, as some people pronounce it. Link is right there in the chat.
Jack has all the methods for getting money.
I'm poor and I have a lot of free time right now. Well, not so much this week, but yeah. So I set all this shit up ages ago. But yeah, I think it's a good idea because then you could do content. And like I said, Patreon is, if somebody wants to protest Patreon, they can support you on Subscribestar. I don't see the difference. Yeah, I see the argument that you're splitting, but if somebody doesn't want to support Patreon, or Patreon, then why won't you have a Subscribestar for them?
That Subscribestar is extremely attractive to me as a better option, but then people are like, it's like trying to set up. I mean, now we're talking inside baseball, but it's like it would be like setting up a over on whatchamacallit, DLive. You're working in a smaller pool as just start on YouTube. What's wrong with you? Is the argument that I get back. Or it's like starting over on BitChute. It's like you're gonna get big, but you don't have the streaming option yet. Come on, BitChute, get with it, etc. You need to start in the biggest pool possible, and that means Patreon. And I'm like, yeah, but that's kind of like going along to get along and getting in bed with like Patreon, which are a bunch of scumbags. But I don't know. It's convincing. Just then have both. Yeah. I don't know. All of these thoughts only started like a week ago for me, so I'm all brand new to it. And Manic, thank you very much for the very generous $20, and you totally deserve Naked Ava Green too. I've got to come up with an equally sexy comic book related one. Where has there been full nudity where I can pretend there were shadows in a comic book movie? I have to think about that one. And Manic left no statement, but I genuinely, you know what I should do? I keep talking about getting an Aussie cut for Noir Bar because it's so many Aussies who donate and don't leave any message, right? I'll just get Aussie Wolverine as a clip for comic book curation. Remember the original X-Men pilot cartoon when they made a Wolverine Australian for some fucking reason?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody knows he's Cajun. Because that's why you have Wolverine gumbo.
And I mean, Aussies out there, it's really bad. It's clear they just got some whatever voice actor to go, oi, crikey! It's terrible.
Yeah, it's so put on. It's so put on. It's great. I love it. We're the X-Men.
Well, how do we sound? We need you to sound like a Canadian. What the fuck do Canadians sound like? I don't know. Just do Australian.
What the fuck do Canadians sound like? That? Well, they sound, get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Okay, so Matt Winter says Batman's nude scene. From the comic? When you saw the Batwang?
The Batwang.
Yeah.
I've been told this. Weebo Jones makes an insistent statement on this, that the male genitalia, well, awesome, is not particularly attractive to look at. And I don't know. Is YouTube okay with me putting up a schlong every now and then when somebody... Yeah, just saying that out loud, I realized how weird it is. We show you pictures of dicks for money on my channel.
I think you're gonna draw the wrong kind of crowd, Polly.
I was gonna say also, Polly, if you really want dong, I mean, you can't go wrong with Dr. Manhattan.
Oh yeah,
Also,
yeah, you can have the bouncing blue. Good call.
Yeah. Thank you, Manic, for 10 with no message as well.
Yeah, Play says I got the wrong alerts. Well, you got here too late because I already lambasted myself over that repeatedly. Dropped the ball when I was setting up this. Okay, so this is a story that I don't really care about, but I'm going to put it up to make a statement about how shill media works. It's because we don't cover stories here at Comic Book Curation because we're not journalists. What we're going to do is show you what goes on behind the scenes because we're a bunch of, well, cynical people, really. Yeah. So look, the cinema spot, right? They get an exclusive, an actual exclusive for them, that they got somebody to tell them that Marvel Studios and Disney Plus is plotting a Ironheart series to shoot in 2021. And really quick, thank you again, Gamer Valine. No TikTok. We don't support commies and Logan Paul. Me, you, and Krill need to make our own roundtable anyway. I think that's a fascinating concept. I'd like to go ahead with it, but Krill sounds like the one that needs to be convinced of the three of us, in my opinion. I mean, I'm down, but, you know, the difficulty would be getting him to show up. It seems like. Maybe I'm off on that, but we'll see. So Ironheart, as you know, I mean, come on. Look at this. Isn't this great, guys? Look at this costume. Look at the coloring. It's so aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, God.
I mean, we have so many artists in our audience, right? You got Far, of course, who's here. Hey, Far. You got Grisella and Quiz. I mean, all of you, trained, skilled artists, right? Doesn't this just hurt your retinas to look at? Who picked these fucking colors?
They've been doing this with a lot of comics now. They're using a lot more pinks and purples, all these pastel colors. Yeah. I noticed it with Batman quite a lot recently. And if you look at a lot of Marvel books, they're doing a lot with pinks and purples. So it doesn't surprise me they're doing this. I think it's some sort of subtle thing where they think they're trying to be empowered or some bullshit. But over on the StreamLabs, thanks, Manic, for the donation with no message. Appreciate it.
I've got to wonder, the thing that hurts me most about Ironheart is her really shitty anatomical design. A lot of people, lambast people on Twitter for anatomy, but this is supposed to be a woman who she's 16, so at least in the body is somewhat mature. She has no breasts, so it's strange there, but she still has the big ass flared out hips and bubble butt. It's weird. You're looking at what looks like a woman on the lower half, but a man on the upper half. And is the costume supposed to be so tight? Because this is a suit of armor, right? Why is it so tight on the waist and hips? It doesn't look like armor. It doesn't look like armor, and not add to that the shitty color. No, her design is awful.
I'm with Frosted. This looks like C-3PO coming out of the closet.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Evolve Potato, thank you for the donation. Get stuff from anime. They have a lot of full nude with stream censoring. Do I want to turn my channel weebish? I mean, you're right. There is a lot. Maybe I can go for some American anime. A little bit less missing noses and small mouths and hypersized eyes.
You mean like Castlevania?
No, not after that weird bisexual rape scene gangbang thing. No. What? That happened. That was the thing. Okay.
What?
Yeah, to what's his name? Kelvamore? What's the character's name? Doesn't matter. Anyway, moving on. That happened. There was a giant group sex scene with men's and women's and all sorts of things happening, and it was not exactly consensual.
In Castlevania?
Yeah, am I like way off base on this? It's totally possible. I drank.
Yes. I say I've not seen season 3, but that seems like a ridiculous departure.
Well, someone's going to explain it to me here in a second in chat. I'm sorry I just pissed somebody off or backed up something that was actually happening. I don't know. Let's find out. See if Polly's been drunkenly
my head
delusional.
now, so.
Okay, so anyway, here we are. The cinema spot. Whoever the fuck this is, I've never heard of them. It doesn't matter though, because there's some chill, crappy media, right? And so they've learned that as an exclusive to them, the Marvel Studios is lining up a Disney Plus series for a post-pandemic world. Fuck off. I have learned that the Ironheart character in the same name is in active development at Disney Plus. Okay, sure. She's a brilliant genius. Everybody repeats that. She's a brilliant genius, and it's been going on, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, let me show you something. That's it. That's the whole story, by the way, that the series is in development, and Thomas Polito is the one claiming the exclusive knowledge of it that I've learned from Disney Plus, that this is the case. Okay, see all this story? And a lot of it is just summing up who Ironheart Riri Williams is, the 15-year-old engineering genius who stole her armor to begin with. Terrible stereotype for a black woman to have, but you know. Okay, now let's run it.
Hey, she lives in mega country.
Mm-hmm. So, Screen Rant. They cover it based on the, what are they called again? I've already forgotten. They're so relevant. The Cinema Spot. Okay, so based on the Cinema Spot story, they write a story over here. And by the way, I do love Screen Rant's version of it the most. The character has grown to be immensely popular and has gone on to be a key member of the Champions while assisting the Avengers on occasion. Williams is one of the smartest people in the Marvel Universe and is even smarter than her former mentor, Tony Stark. What are any of the things you're saying?
Yeah, say immensely popular. With whom?
That's what I mean.
Her comic sales would seem to say the opposite.
Yeah, like even her shipments are as low as fuck. On what metric are you basing that?
Twitter.
It's super popular. Like, I mean, and this is actually really well done art, by the way. This looks great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is not the usual art that they have for Miss Riri. Yeah, so then over to, sorry for the slow loading time, but that's why I have a potato fund. Give generously. I'm just kidding. Liking and subscribing is plenty of support. We're not fucking Invader V here.
If you can afford to watch, you can afford to donate to Polly's Hash Brown.
Report. Marvel Studios is developing an Ironheart Disney series. So CBR. Okay. And we go over. And comicbookmovie.com is slowly loading. And it's Ironheart Disney Plus series rumored to be scheduled for production late next year, citing back to the Cinema Spot story. Holy fuck, how many people are running a story off of this one fucking story where there's no source cited? It's just an exclusive because they said that it was. Well, Geek Tea Rant, whoever the fuck that is, Marvel Studios is reporting an active development of an Ironheart Disney Plus series. Oh my god! What? Gee. Okay, let's keep going. I mean, let's just, why stop now? Sorry for all the slow loading time, guys. This is kind of ruining the impact of the point that I'm making here, but you know how it is. So I'm just going to keep talking until this comic page eventually loads up. Slowly. Comicbeats.com. That's where we're loading. Give generously to the Potato Fund. Shit, am I right? This is what happens when you only have 6. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gigs of RAM. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ironheart TV series reportedly in the works at Disney. Okay, I'm just going to close these because they're still loading. You know why they're loading? Because my ad blocker's blocking all the fucking ridiculous amounts of advertisements that are fucking running on those goddamn pages. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
The genius who had to steal. Yeah, you're goddamn right. And holy shit. 6 gigs of RAM, guys, is completely full of, you know what? Well, everything else that I've been loading. Ironheart series rumor to fall resurfaces. And then even our own beloved Bounding into Comics. Rumor review coming to Disney Plus. Even Bounding into Comics. I mean, that is, what, 8? I don't even want to go back and count because it's going to take a while to reload them all. Like 8, 9 different. And those are just the ones that I found like this. And just loaded them all as tabs. There is how information moves. So, as we talked about and joked about many times here in Comic Book Curation, right? Poor Andrew Garfield, the guy who played Spider-Man and Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man for Sony. I think it was Sony. Whatever. Gets approached. And he's asked, would you have a problem with gay Peter Parker? And he's like, no. Because he doesn't want to say yes, right? And it's like, oh, would you additionally have a problem with a trans Spider-Man? And he was like, I guess not. Plastered everywhere all over the internet the next day. Andrew Garfield calls for trans boy Spider-Man. No, remember we
Trans gay boy.
Yeah, trans gay. Literally, it was trans boy Spider-Man and trans gay boy Spider-Man. Those were all the headlines. We talked about them. It was fucking nuts. And all of it off of one reporter on a press junket asking him a question, posting as an exclusive, and then the dominoes start falling, and every shill site just repeats it. And this is the basis of how internet rumors work. This is how this garbage works, and they're all in this insular little incestuous, reliant, circle jerk hand holding fuckery fest.
Yep.
No, I think I know who the source of this rumor is. Kathleen Kennedy. Would you be surprised?
Is that your call?
Honestly? That's my guess. Because why wouldn't she? She just got this other feminist bullshit pushed through with Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay, there's one more story that I wanted to cover, but we have run out of time. Specifically, I have run out of time, and I'm actually over time. So we're going to do some hyper quick pitches, and I mean quick, gentlemen. Let me show you how quick I mean. Okay? Go off. Hello?
Hello.
No, I just like.
No.
Fuck.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
You can see what? Oh, wait a minute.
We're supposed to be sharing it here. We're supposed to be
There
sharing
we
it
go. Yeah, I was sharing the wrong one. Okay, Daredevil Yellow by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. It's awesome. I just read it like 3 days ago. I read it over the weekend. It's fucking fantastic. It's exactly what you would expect of a Loeb and Sale comic book. Like we talked about with the Long Halloween before, and I pitched Spider-Man Blue. This is part of the series that they did for Daredevil, and it's a fantastic Daredevil story told in their own inimitable style. The art is great. It's wordy. It's an in-depth story. It's their own non-canonical take, meaning it's not part of the continuity of the Matt Murdock world. So they get to have a little bit of fun with it. It is a street level, where's he from? Hell's Kitchen. Regional story. It's a lot of background information in terms of origin story told through flashbacks, what makes Matt Murdock who he is, how he became the Daredevil, told through flashbacks. It's a fucking great graphic novel. I highly recommend it. It's available on Comixology. It's available used. Buy it. It's awesome. There.
Cool.
I'm like, seriously totally running out of time. Gotta go. So,
right.
Who's up next?
I'll go.
All right.
All right. I'm pitching The Flash, number 123 from 1961. This is a facsimile edition reprint for $4. Came out a few months ago. And it's the first time that we learn about Earth 2, where the Golden Age Flash lives. And this is also the Golden Age Flash first appearance in the Silver Age. So we got Barry Allen and Jay Garrick. Can't talk. It's written by Gardner Fox. And we actually get to see a team up of two classic heroes for the first time. And it's a fun story. They fight several villains, including the Shade, the Shade Thinker, and the Fiddler. They're all villains from the Golden Age when characters were just silly. But it was a fun read. It's a good all ages book. You get to see them team up and try and stop some different villains, And it was just a good time. And it's a fun classic tale that I think more people need to be familiar with. So it's Silver Age, but it's early Silver Age. So they're trying to bridge the worlds between two fandoms. And I think they do a pretty good job of it here. It is a little dated, but it's a fun read.
What year? The original?
1961.
1961.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Eagle says, I had that comic. Wow. That's kind of cool, actually. Jesus.
Yeah, it is. It's worth quite a bit of money now, but if you can find the facsimile edition, it's only $4. It's been reprinted before, but this is a really nice one because it's got all the original ads and it's on newsprint, so it's got that original feel to it. And I really like that.
They reprinted it on newsprint?
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's how DC does theirs.
Sweet.
It's on original paper stock, and it's actually really nice paper. So it was cool. It's a little smaller because the Silver Age books were actually a little wider and taller back in the day, but it's modern comic format, but it's got the exact same ads and paper quality. It's fantastic. I had a great time reading this. I thought it was a lot of fun. And if you're looking to get somebody into comics, it's a good way to do it.
Cool.
All right, there it is. And Inquisitor.
Okay. Mine is written by Ken Su Chong and pencils. Well, all art by Omar Dogan. My pitch is come on. Street Fighter Legends Sakura. This is a story of Sakura from Street Fighter, and like a little bit of a slice of life story of her going to high school and just learning to be a better fighter. All at the behest of Ryu, who's of course traveling the globe and being his fighter self. And there's some pretty funny exchanges here of instant message between Sakura and Ryu, who has absolutely no idea how to work computers. It's really funny. But this issue itself ends with Sakura and her friends going to see a wrestling match with Rainbow Mika fighting Zangief. Overall, if you're familiar with the Street Fighter game and like to see the game with a little bit more character and development, you can't go wrong with this. This is part of the there's several issues that are in the Street Fighter Legends comic series. This one in particular is Sakura, and I had a great time reading it.
Sweet. Nice. We got a Street Fighter, a Double Flash, and a yellow Daredevil.
I think his name is pronounced Ryu.
It's Ryu.
And Sakura.
Sakura.
Zangief.
Well, he's Russian. You can misinterpret his name all you want.
All right, and there it is. Okay, fun episode. And I do have to get going now. So I want to thank everybody for coming and showing up. I want to thank everybody who liked and subscribed. And if you are so interested, please like on the way out. And I forgot to say this, which I've been saying before. I started responding to all of the messages which the Reformed Creator Studio... I couldn't find where the common comments were for underneath videos, just the newest one, which they put up in your face along with the analytics because they want to push the numbers down your throat more than have you be able to interact with your audience and anyone in the comments. So if you're listening in the future, please leave comments. I get a chance to read them all because now I know where to find them and respond to most. So feel free to do that. I want to especially thank everybody who donated. You guys fucking rock. The potato is closer, man. Jack Quiz, any thoughts?
Thank you for the donations, and here's a link to my latest video because you'll need something to do now that we're ending. You guys are awesome.
Yes, thank you all for coming. I'm sorry for being late, but yeah, we have fun making this for you guys. It's a lot of fun sitting here talking and everything like that. And we're glad you guys enjoy it. So yeah, absolutely leave comments. I've not been able to check the comments in a while, but I'm going to do so now. Yeah, just
Sweet.
Thanks for interacting, guys. We love you.
And really quick, Becca asks, so the bar will remain closed, Polly? And somebody else asked, I forget who, probably Evil One, bar is going to be open. I might actually open it up later after I go do what I got to do here. And finally, thank you, Evolve Potato, for posting our links in chat. Appreciate it as always. All right.